We live in a time in this world where silence and stillness and doing nothing is not something that is naturally embraced. Most of the time we are on the go, on the run, and we look at silence, sitting still, doing nothing as being boring or not getting anything done or wasting time. And nothing could be further from the truth. Hello, 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 Mosaic Souls. Hey Mosaic Souls, this is Rachael Alexander, artist and spiritual teacher with Flair. And today I want to talk about the power of silence and stillness and doing nothing. In a time where we are being forced to do nothing, to be at home, to be quarantined, and to just remain indoors, a lot of things are coming up for a lot of people where boredom might be coming up and they're looking at it as a bad thing, as though to be bored is a bad thing. In the olden days, I guess before the time of, cell phones and TV and Netflix and all this other stuff, we went outside, and of course we were being encouraged not to do that, but we found other ways. We tapped into our creativity in ways that we haven't been doing for a while, I would say, as a society. And I think that this is such a beautiful time for us to take this opportunity to go inward, to connect to our higher selves, to connect to silence, to connect to stillness. There's of course a lot of scientific evidence and proof to back up the power of meditation and the power of quieting the mind over long periods of time. Not only does it have wonderful and tremendous health benefits of calming the autonomic nervous system, helping ease depression and all this other stuff, but sitting in silence and sitting in stillness is really where creativity comes from. When you're bored, that's when you get creative. I remember being a little girl outside, and our parents would let us go outside in the neighborhood and just be outside. And I would be outside for hours, just like playing in the dirt. I loved nature as a little girl, and I still love nature now. But I remember just being outside and playing with the dirt and finding little bugs and just like being excited about just the small little things that we take for granted. Just being in awe of nature and climbing trees and looking at cool animals and stuff like that. And in this time we have such a disdain for doing nothing, a disdain for or lack of comfort around doing nothing. We look at it as though it's a bad thing, as though we shouldn't do it at all. You know what I mean? Like, we're not accomplishing something. We're in this go, go, go culture, this accomplish culture, that we don't see or value stillness. We don't value silence. We don't value connecting inwardly. And I think that's such the beauty of the time that we're living in now, where we're kind of forced to do this, right? And a lot of times, when we are being forced in these situations to look at our inner worlds that we've been avoiding for so long, due to societal programming, just due to life and just being on the go all the time, a lot of stuff can come up for you. Having uncomfortable relationships, realizing that maybe you haven't been honest with yourself around certain things in your life. I had my nephew message me today just talking about his kind of uncomfortable situation, dealing with certain things in his family, his whole little family dynamic. And it's a beautiful thing when we're forced to kind of look at our ish, you know what I mean? And it's not comfortable, right? It's a moment where I look at it as a purification and a detoxification process, where a lot of the stuff that we've been avoiding has to come up. And in order for you to kind of heal this inner world and reconnect with who you truly are, such that your life becomes an expression of the divinity, of the divine being that you are, a lot of this stuff has to come up, And for a lot of us, it's going to be uncomfortable. And for a lot of us, it might just be really easy, So it's all about what you focus on. So whatever your focus is what will become your reality, right? And so I really wanted to talk about just the power of stillness and silence and just my own personal experience with it. Being in a society where, you know, a lot of people tend to focus in on the negative things in life, and they look at you as though you're weird. Like, if you're not woke, you won't get this, right? But if you're still listening, you probably are spiritually awakening or already on the awakening journey or whatever. But in a society where everyone values drama and, you know, discord, and they get there's like this addiction to drama, you know, like there is no meaning to life if there is no drama, right? And you're looked at as weird or off kilter or uncompassionate because you don't adhere or you don't tap into other people's drama, right? And I remember, you know, literally just speaking to one of my really good friends, one of my best friends, about, you know, she said something to me that was really funny, and I had to kind of correct her. And it was like sort of an aha moment for both of us. But she was like, yeah, you know how like you just don't like deal with other people's BS, you know, and you don't really care about people's drama. And I was like, it's not that I don't care, it's that I just don't go down to their vibrational frequency. You know, I feel as light beings, if you're watching this, I feel like you're on the path to being a light being, or you're a light being already in your own community, in your own family units, in your own whatever. And it's not that, for me, dealing with drama or ignoring, it's not about ignoring it. You know, it's definitely about dealing with it when it comes up. But it's about when people complain or focus on the negative and stuff like that, and I'm not vibrationally there, I don't find value in lowering my vibe to meet them. I actually find value in staying where I'm at and having them rise up to me. That to me is like the definition of a light being, right? We are all light beings regardless if we're aware of it or not. So even the people who focus in on drama, even the people who are addicted to negativity, addicted to focusing in on things that they can't control, or they're focusing in on things that they can control but acting like they can't control it, whatever the situation is, I feel the most compassionate and loving thing that you can do is to stay at a vibrational level where of love, of abundance, of understanding that all is well. And when you stay in that level of high vibrations of who and what you truly are, you help other people awaken to who they truly are. And that, I feel, is the essence of being a divine being, because we are all divine beings. It's just some of us sleep and some of us are woke to it, right? And so I feel like as light beings, as divine, you know, divine beings having this human experience, one of the things that I know that I'm personally called to do is to be that sort of beacon. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to be a beacon of light to others. It's more so like, just be yourself, you know? And for me, you know, when I made that correction with my friend, you know, like, no, it's not about me not having compassion for others or not caring. No, actually, I care very deeply, and I love you very deeply. So when you're going through something and I'm not there, I'm not necessarily going to lower my vibe to meet you. I'm just going to listen with compassion and loving spaciousness. And I'm just going to say, you know, I'm not going to offer my opinion unless you want to know my opinion. And if you want to know my opinion, then it's going to be from a higher vibration. It's not going to be from judgment or condemnation or anything. It's just going to be from looking at things from a higher perspective. And that's what our souls, that's what our divine teams are doing. That's what our spirit guides are always doing. They're always looking at our lives through a divine lens, because we are divine beings. Regardless if we're having this human experience and we're thinking that we're only human, understanding that we are souls first having this human experience, right? Soul having this human experience. And once you understand that, you start to shift your perspective of looking at life through the lens of source. You're looking at life through the lens of the divine being, the God energy, infinite intelligence that you truly are. And so when you are more lighthearted and people feel like, oh, you're uncompassionate or you don't get it, it's not that you don't get it. It's not that you disvalue the contrast that life is bringing up right now, or the drama or the negativity that's all coming up. It's not that you ignore it, or that you don't value it, or that you don't understand it, or that you poo-poo it, or you're looking down on others. No, it's understanding that the more you stay in the vibrational frequency of that which is desired, the more that you can bring up others to that same vibrational frequency. Because we are divine beings, and if we're the ones creating our reality, why focus on what we don't want? When we do that, when we focus on what we don't want, we're shifting to that vibrational or that parallel reality, and we're conjuring up that more into our physical reality, right? Why not focus on what is desired, right? Focus on what feels good, right? And which is why my vibe, for the most part, I don't really work, but I've made it such my like modus operandi to live from a place of inner knowing, of moving from that place of just doing what I love to do, and moving from that place of high vibrations. I don't find any value to stay in a low vibration for long periods of time, because I know who I am and I know how the universe works. I know that if I focus on what I don't want, I'm going to create it. I know that if I focus on illness and sickness and death and despair, then I'm only going to conjure that up into my own personal reality, and then that's going to become my reality, right? It's not about, oh, I'm ignoring what's going on in the world. No, I'm actually bringing so much love and light to the world by being at the vibrational level that needs to be brought into the level, in the world, And we have enough negativity spreading with the news and the media and all that stuff, right? And this time of being forced to be in stillness is such a beautiful time, because now you can actually work on your vibrational frequency. How are you feeling from moment to moment? What are you focusing on? What are your thought patterns from moment to moment to moment? If you're finding that you're one of those people who have a tendency to focus in on drama, ask yourself, I'm not telling you to do anything, as I always say, flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't, but ask yourself, is this the kind of person that I want to be? Is this the kind of energy that I want to put out into the world? Is this what I want to attract into my life continuously? And it's really a simple, answer for me, but you have to come to your own conclusion around that as well, And so that's why I really wanted to talk about that, like being quiet and being still and doing nothing is not doing nothing at all. Let's take this a step deeper. Okay, Mosaic Souls. Let's take this a step deeper. Doing nothing in a time where people are freaking out and trying to figure out how to do more, or, try to fix things and stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're feeling called to like serve other people or go help, do what your heart says, right? I always say flow with what feels good, let go of what doesn't. But in a time where we are forced to be inwards, inside, and do a lot of nothing, look at this as a gift. This is a time where you can literally get to know who you truly are and what you really want in the world. Where we're always being forced to do, not forced, we kind of force ourselves, right? But in the situations where we're always on the go, take this time to be still with yourself. And the level deeper that I wanted to get to is stillness, silence, surrender, if you want to call it that. Just being in the moment and doing nothing for like how many ever minutes, right? Just being present. There's so much that's being done in that energetic frequency. And because we are limited in our 5 senses, right? We only have 5 senses, touch, taste, sight, hearing, smelling, right? And we as human beings in our incarnated selves only have these 5 senses. But us as divine beings, we have a whole other plethora of vision. Like your soul has a vision, is aware of what is going on. And our human minds are literally incapable of seeing the infinite realities that are possible and accessible to us at any given moment in time. So when we become still and when we become silent and when we tap into that which we truly are, we're tapping into this infinite well of possibilities, of parallel realities that exist all simultaneously right now. And so this stillness, this silence, this doing nothing is actually doing so much, because we live in a vibrational universe. understanding that everything you touch, taste, see, hear, or smell is actually all vibrations. Just because we get caught up in this fleshly thing and these concrete ideas and this 3D, third dimensional reality, thinking that this is it, right? This is what I see before me right now is it. There's no other possibility. So I have to work with what I got. And it's a beautiful thing that us as human beings, we can get creative with just our little 5 senses. But imagine, right? Let's take a little journey with me right now. If we could actually tap into the sixth sense and beyond with our higher selves, understanding that there's more to what our minds could even see, that your soul, that your divine team, your spirit guides, whatever you want to call it, God, whatever resonates for you, has an ultimate vision, has an ultimate shift in not only consciousness, but shift in the way that we live our lives today, that our little human minds can't even see, right? So when you're freaking out thinking that, oh, all these things are bad things are happening right now, why not shift your perception and go into the place of stillness? Ask for guidance, ask for clarity. What's going on? Really, in 2020, the year of clarity, the year of crystal seeing, of vision, right? This is the perfect time to tap into your divinity, to tap into what your soul has in store for you, you know? And when you tap into that stillness, when you tap into this wellspring of infinite possibilities, there's so much going on, right? On a vibrational level. Even though we can't see it, even though we can't taste it, touch it, smell it, or hear it, there's so much going on, Mosaic Soul. And this message is as much for me as it is for you. A beautiful reminder of how powerful we truly are, you know? If we can heal ourselves, if we can conjure up new opportunities and stuff, if we can, freaking fly planes, right? If we can create, so many things as a human species with just our little limited human minds. I don't think anything that we've created from a creativity standpoint honestly came from our human minds. I think it's come from our higher selves, but another topic for another day. But if we can do that, think of all the things that we can do now. That we're no less powerful now, you know? And so I just want to leave you with those words of encouragement and understanding of who and what you truly are, because being in silence and being in stillness and being in touch with who you truly are and doing nothing is not doing nothing. There is no wasting time. Doing nothing is the birthplace of creativity. It's this go, 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 go culture. It's this always trying to make things happen culture that has us disconnected from our true creativity, disconnected from creative solutions, disconnected from the limitless possibilities that are available to us at any moment in time. So I just want to share this with you, that let's reframe stillness and silence and doing nothing. Let's reframe how we look at those. Let's reframe our perception around that versus thinking that, oh, this is a bad thing that's happening. Oh, I'm so bored. Oh, boredom is a bad thing, right? Instead of trying to fix this, okay. Instead of looking at it as this sort of negative thing, why not look at it as a positive, right? Reframing your intentions and reframing the meaning that you're giving this moment in time where we're called to be in silence and stillness and doing nothing, always being on the go, always doing has you disconnected from that still small voice that's always there as guidance, that's always there giving you intuitive nudges, right? So that's why stillness, silence, and doing nothing is so powerful beyond just the health benefits, right? That's why it's so powerful. There's nothing more beautiful that you can do in this moment. Even if, let's say you're still working from home, just giving yourself that 10 to 15 minute break of just doing nothing and, focusing in on your breath, doing a silent meditation, doing some self-reflection or journaling, so that's all I really wanted to share. And, in this time where we're asked to sort of reprioritize what is most important to us and what is, the things that we want to create moving forward, because this is sort of this purification, and so it's this clean slate that's being kind of wiped across the world, and now we get to be immense creators, right? and come up with new stuff, you know. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I have an audio program. I'm still debating on whether I want to do an audio or video. We'll see how spirit flows. But it's called Calm the Crazy. And right now I have it, well, I'll probably have, I have it on my website as a pay what you want kind of thing. And it's just kind of like an audio, but I'm thinking about expanding it into sort of like a short meditation program of understanding like how to get into stillness and how to tap into what feels good. Honestly, it feels good to just kind of do that as sort of like a challenge, right? I love the term calm the crazy, because right now the world seems so crazy, and I love the whole calm the crazy, right? Like, let's tap back into who we truly are. Calm this sort of energy that's going on in the world and just bring it down to our divinity, bring it, you know, reconnect with that which we truly are, so such that there is no worry, there's no fear, you know, you're connected to your intuition. Like, you know, as a divine being, do you think that your soul doesn't have an intention for you during this time, that is not giving you guidance all the time right now? Like, do you think your soul just like, oh, well, they're going through a crisis, I'm gonna be quiet? Like, that's not going on at all. That's not going on at all. Your soul is still very much so present in this moment, in this time. You know, even more now than ever, actually. I feel like there's so many more divine beings, ascended masters, and, you know, spirits and guides who are on the planet now more than ever. So, you know, tap into that energy, tap into who you truly are, tap into your higher self, you know, because there's so much infinite wisdom within you that you're not even tapping into. And this is not like a bash on you. This is just kind of like for those people who feel like jittery and super, you know, addicted to drama or addicted to negativity. This message is more so for that. But even for my light beings, right? For you guys who already get it, you know, if people attack you, you know, with that kind of like, you don't get it, you can direct them to this video, because it's, there's so much power in stillness and silence and doing nothing. So on that note, I'm going to get off. I feel like I'm complete with what I wanted to share. And yeah, if you are interested in the Calm the Crazy, check out the link below. I'll put it in the description box below. And yeah, you guys have an awesome day, and keep shining your light into the world. And remember to always flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't, because your soul knows exactly what you came to explore and experience on this planet while incarnated as a human. And remember to always vibrate higher, because you are divine. You are a divine being, and I am so looking forward to the things that we're going to be birthing in the upcoming months. Have an awesome, awesome, wonderful rest of your week. Peace, love, and light.